and on, mentoring you right now, giving you gold. Like, I'm giving you the real shit, the real things. This is exactly how I talked to my one-on-ones in the 90s. When I sat with people one-on-one and trained them individually, this is exactly how I talk to them. I talk to them just like this. I use these same reference points. I've talked about this almost verbatim. The piece of paper I'm holding is the same discolored piece of paper from 1996. Yes, it looks like it's been it looks like it's had better days. But hey, it's a long time ago, right? But you have to know that social media is toxic, and you're trying to keep up with the Joneses and the social media equity curve that everyone's trying to be the person of interest right now. Fuck all that. It's not. Look, I'm growing fast, and I don't give a shit. I don't care. I don't care if I don't reach my 1 million subscribers. I would like to. It's just a milestone for me. I just want to do it as a goal. If I don't reach it, I'm not going to cry about it. I'm not going to bellyache. I'm not going to regret or sulk about it. I don't care. But I think if I keep doing what I'm doing, it's going to be the result. And that's fine. But journaling is crucial, and it's for optimal development. And submitting to that process that we've talked about here, if you have not started a journal and logging old trade ideas that you didn't participate in and marking them up with great detail of what it is you see in the chart, if you're not revisiting that on the weekends, instead of reading the newspaper or horse shit magazines that you shouldn't be looking at, pornos and stuff like that, all that stuff is a distraction. It's a terrible, terrible waste of time. You need to go back through data, look at old chart moves. Okay. Another thing, if you see that some of my students are sharing their examples where they're taking the trades and they're actually entering the trades and engaging and doing stop losses and targets, that's actually a fruitful thing too, because you're watching other people do what you're learning. So it's not like I'm the only magician here showing a magic trick and performing for you. You can see I have students that are absolutely able to do these things. So there's logic that works, and they're not being told what to do. And I sure as hell am not doing sock puppeting. I don't have that shit. I'm not doing that. I don't have time for it. Like I'm wrapped up in my own. But something happens when you get in there and you push a button, and because if it starts taking off real quick, you start thinking, oh, it might go down to that other thing that's way down here. Because what happens if there's a 50 handle day? What happens if there isn't? And you didn't take your profit and it reverses. That's the perspective you're supposed to have. You got to get paid when it gives you the opportunity to get paid. That's why you're here. You're not here for trophies. You're not here for fucking clout. Okay. You're here to make money. That's it. You're not here for friends. You're not here for relationships. You're not here for any kind of attention. You're here to just find some money. That's it. And consistently find an approach that gives you the opportunity to bank that. And you have to do this in your demo account for months to get used to doing that. And over time, how much time? Could take years for some of you and maybe less for others. But for a rule of thumb, an approach that can be, in my opinion, replicated by the majority of you, not every one of you. Some of you are just never going to be able to do this, and that's the reality of it. Doesn't mean I'm a failure. It doesn't mean I'm a fraud. It doesn't mean my concepts don't work. It just simply means that you can't do it. And there should be no shame in that. If you ever get to the point where you come to the conclusion that you can't, then okay, no problem. And there's a lot of you that listen to me. And I don't know where you're at in your life. I don't know what you've done, what kind of harm you can have to yourself. But I try to do everything I can to keep these types of things from occurring again. And one of the fears I have is, say I do meet an untimely end, okay? The Lord calls me home and that's his business and I'm ready when he wants to do it. But if my kids don't know how to do this like I want them to know it, I would not want them to feel that kind of pressure. I wouldn't want them to have that level of pressure on them that they feel like it's too much, it's overwhelming. So growing up, I pushed a lot for them to want to do what I do, but I didn't push so hard that they would feel like they have to do that. And I know there's a lot of you out there that are trying to prove me wrong, that are not trying to be my students. You just want to prove me wrong. I'm inviting you to prove me wrong. I've always invited that. Go through my stuff with the intent to say it does not work. There's no validity in it. It does not work. If you do that, go in with that. I've had so many students that actually came into my fold with that very approach. They were tired of hearing me talk this shit. Showing examples that everybody wants to claim is cherry picked. And they want to go in through it and just say, hey, it is. And they're like, man, I saw it. It was there. And they used to be major trolls. Now they're part of the fold. They're part of the cult of winning. But for the students of mine that want to win this bitch, number one, you don't need a lot. You don't need a lot to do it. Okay? Every single time in the past few years, okay, I have had some joker, some clown come to me, okay, and claim that they're going to join the Robbins Cup. Some of them do the registration and they show that they're registered. Great. I went and did the same thing. I registered. Now, registering is not the same as opening up an account. So I have not had money in Robbins Cup in all the years that Vinny and other people claim I have. Now, I did register to retort to those individuals that said they were going to step up and do it. But they never did it. They never joined. They never funded an account, and they never placed. And I used to have, you have to be on the leader one spot. And then I'm not going to waste my time with anybody else that's not going to do that. Because if you're a trader and you really are going to make an effort to do this for the full year, you'll get your ass up there. I'm not holding that as a requirement now. But you got to get on that board. Because I've had people say, show you have Corvettes and I'll delete my videos about your bullshit. If you do this, I'll stop everything I've said about you and all the lies and horseshit you've done. I'm not buying into that now. No. You said you're in it. You're going to prove it by logging in, showing your account number. And that better be the fucking account number that you supposedly are going to win with. Now, let's talk about some recipes. How to win a World Cup. How to win a competition. How to rip the shit off of everybody else out there. Ready? You don't use AlgoBox. You don't use that. You use simple fucking logic and you use simple stop loss orders. You have to use a stop loss every single time. Okay. Now think about this. If you looked at what Larry Williams did and you studied his statements and such, which I did for years as a 20-some-year-old, I didn't have the access to seeing his statements. I didn't see them really until I was in my early 30s. And I don't know if they were available prior to that, but when I was in my early 30s, that's the first time I sat down. I literally walked through every single one of his trades. And I was like, okay, well, I mean, clearly he's being honest. He's talking about how he's not a good trader. He used the benefit of maximized money management. And when his winners were winning, they were crazy payouts. And when his losses were happening, it was a big loss, but he was okay with taking that kind of loss because he knew his system, his approach was meant to capture big range days. And if he was going to trade a day when he thought a big range day was going to come, whether it be an up day or down day, he knew that if he got stopped out before, the day before, the bigger day would come and it would eat up that loss because it would be many times less than a full daily range would be. So with all that said, and without making it even more boring than it already is, I got to thinking like, okay, so how can I do this multiple ways where I can get to 11,000%? And I did it 2 times on Twitter. I ran up 2 different demo accounts. One I did a $5,000 account and another one did 100,000. And I've never claimed that was a live account. I've never done that at all. The screenshots that you see Vinny and other assholes out there doing, there was one live account. I actually still have the account. I still have it. It was the residual account that when FXCM got sued and got thrown out of the United States, I had an account that I was letting my son, underage, not allowed to trade with, but I've done that before with GFT. That account, I think it had like $200 or whatever in it, and I was making them trade with really, really small leverage to try to learn it and try to get interested in doing it. And it was back when Adam Webb was, trying to get me doxxed. He wasn't trying to have a real competition with me, but he wanted me to provide him rather my personal information because he's a piece of shit. But I proved that the only account that I showed was demo, and the only thing that I showed ever with a live was a $200 account. And when I scrolled back to prove that there was no trading done in it, well, I scrolled all the way back, and when FXCM was thrown out of the United States and Forex.com purchased all the accounts and acquired all the accounts, there was a rollover from that brokerage firm to this brokerage firm. So when they did that, they deposited $1 million of fake money in the account and then withdrew it. And that, I even asked them, I literally got into a discussion on there and recorded myself saying, hey, what's the deal? Why does that look like that? And Adam Webb said, oh yeah, you're using an MT4 rented MT4 server because you're putting $1 million in and taking it out. I said, I'm not claiming that is $1 million withdrawal. I'm showing you that is how they started the account. And if you email forex.com, if you think that I'm talking shit, you email and contact forex.com and ask them, when you guys did the FXCM buyout where all the American accounts that were in that brokerage firm rolled over into forex.com, how does the account get started? Because if I scroll back way before forex.com acquired the account, how is it able to show 2 years before that $1 million deposit and $1 million withdrawal in the same time? That was the way that their system, their server, initiated the identification of that account. That's all that was. And to prove that was the only account that I had that would be made public, I was toying and joking with these assholes. I swiped over and showed it's a live account. I showed it was a Forex.com live account, and it showed the live server, and I showed the account number. Now, what these dickheads do is they take that, they splice that little piece there, and they say, I said that big run up twice in the $1 million accounts when I was demo. It was all demo. I've never shown any live trading ever in a live account. I called myself the demo baller. I did that and I fucked with everybody, and nobody could even come close to what I was doing, period. And I grew on demo only. People watched everything that I did on YouTube. That's why they subscribed. They've never heard me fucking say, I did this shit with live funds. That's never fucking happened. And every person that logged into my mentorship, they signed an agreement knowing everything they were learning was all demo. They're learning price action. They're not even learning trading. Just like you're not learning trading. You're learning price action. So that's the really real shit. That's the market historian shit that you don't get to know about. And they can all be fucking factually checked by simply reaching out to forex.com and you'll see it. Done. But how do you win the Robbins Cup? Oh, ICT, you're all over the place, but you keep coming back. So I started thinking to myself, okay, how can I do this systematically where running up 11,000%, but I don't want to do the full year because I don't like December because I want to have the holidays off. Like you see me enjoying it now. I'm not making YouTube videos, but I'm having a whole lot of fun on Twitter. And you're learning, so don't complain. Okay, there's no refunds here. The bottom line is this. If you can find a way that systematically has a process of seeing setups that form continuously, okay, just think for a second, because this is the big disconnect that everybody has about competing and trading and doing both sides of the fucking market, trading. If you know the bias, and I've already told you how to map out the year in this whole presentation here today. If this idea of everything I've mapped out resonates with you, I want you to sit down in your charts and think about what happens if you can get 6 handles a day. That's easy. Do 3 in the morning, 3 in the afternoon. You don't even have to have a full pool. What does that mean? Get in your entry and go to your full terminus target. 3 handles is shit. It's nothing. Like, that's nothing. That's nothing. Like, I could literally almost close my eyes and throw a fucking dart at a wall and put stickers all over the wall and have yes, buy, yes, sell. And whatever I hit on it, I can still get 3 handles out of that just by static price action alone. It sounds unbelievable, but it really is that easy. 3 handles is nothing. It's just static price action alone. You can get that. Now, if you know when it's likely to have the order flow in one direction, aiming for a particular high or low intraday, and you're going in, you're trying to get 3 handles in the morning, 3 handles in the afternoon, you have a recipe.